Good evening and welcome back to Jerusalem, where Queen Gerhild is still on the throne. Queen Gerhild, the Sword of God, and has successfully appointed, acquiesced to the appointment of her moderately terrifying daughter Antsa as Marshal. I did discover while poking around earlier that Antsa has apparently managed to get into 4 battlefield duels so far, which is actually 2 more than Gerhild has managed, because Gerhild getting gazumped by her commanders. She would be trying to fight some enemy commander, and one of her own commanders would say, "No, I'll take that one, my lady." Antsa apparently doesn't have this problem. Possibly, I suppose, because she's not a ruler. Well, she's not, in this respect, a ruler. When she's out there as marshal, maybe other commanders are less prone to leaping out in front of her. Yes.
If you're queen, the purpose of the chief fighter is to defend you, so they will not take quite the same attitude.
I'm slightly wondering about giving some of my preemptively giving some of my artifacts to Antsa, not just to avoid inheritance tax, because like they provide martial boosts, so it might be help, and indeed personal combat skill boosts, so that might be helpful. But maybe not. Currently, Gerhild is a perfectly good person to have leading an army as well, though she probably shouldn't actually be allowed to have a sword. Actually, let's just check. Do all of these give martial and personal combat skill? They do, yes. So Gerhild probably wants to keep them for the martial, even though the personal combat skill is not very helpful because she is old and fat, and thus not really the right person to be rushing around with a sword. Whereas Queen Antsa is neither of the, Duchess Antsa is neither of these, but only has a base personal combat skill of only has a personal combat skill of 21. Despite that, mostly because she's stressed and kind, and not a Crusader Queen. Being a Crusader Queen helps a lot with your personal combat skill, as I recall. Oh, it's only plus 15. Yeah. Anyway, right, where were we? Is anyone paying attention? There's someone watching the stream, that's nice. Queen Gerhild is trying to conquer the entirety of the Middle East, basically. She has decided that the best way to avoid the Middle East turning into an utter nightmare in the future is for her to control all of it.
Is that bit on the right also hers? Or just the same colour by coincidence?
Yes, that bit's also hers. We're coming at the Ziadids from both ends. But actually, we're coming at the Najidids from both ends. That was an attempt at getting ourselves a third front with the Najidids. Or rather, getting a vassal of Queen Gerhild's a third front with the Najidids, because each of her vassals has a separate truce timeout. So the more vassals who can attack the Najidids in parallel, the more territory she can take off them, because they control quite a lot of the area she wants, and so they're going to need quite a lot of wars. So obviously someone needs to squish the Ziadids, but the Ziadids are frankly pretty squishy. The Ziadid Sultan has 3,500 troops at his disposal. Antsa has more than that in her little duchy down here. And like we've also got Prince Archbishop Donato, who really we shouldn't have allowed to get the job, who has 3,000 troops, so he could probably do the job fairly well. We really should have adopted open succession, or whatever, non-papal succession. I've forgotten what it's called. Free investiture before he went and got given the job by the Pope, because he's terrible. Maybe we should have him murdered. So I think the Ziadids need not be Gerhild's problem. There are then 3 fronts with the Najidids, all of which have a duchy facing them, but the Najidids do currently have a shiny new sultan with whom Gerhild does not have a truce. So she might want to take them on fairly soon. And the Ziadids are moderately scary. I'm not sure any of our dukes can actually afford to take them on. The Azamids look tiny until you zoom out and discover that they're over here as well. On the other hand, well, that does mean they've got 7,000 troops. That's not very scary. Plus all their 7,000 troops are all the way over in what these days is Pakistan, or possibly Western India. So like they're going to take a while to get here. But the more interesting problem is that the area we want actually includes lumps of the Byzantine Empire. Now, these bits we have de jure claims on by virtue of being Queen of Syria. This bit over here less so. But we do have a vassal who has a weak claim on Cappadocia. And at the moment, the Duke of Cappadocia is a child. Now, he is a 14-year-old child, so we don't have very long in which we can press a weak claim against him. So I think the important decision is, can we safely go to war with the Byzantine Empire? I mean, safe is obviously a relative term here. It's a war against the Byzantine Empire. But they only have 17,500 troops, and we have 21,000. So
also, their generals will spend forever sorting out coordinating their attack.
yeah, precisely. Whereas Antsa and Gerhild could just stick themselves on the two flanks of an army and go charge, and have martial skills of 25 and 27 respectively, which is pretty terrifying. So yeah, I mean, having seen the state of the how the Byzantine Empire works in this game, they really do have Byzantine generals. The whole thing is a competition among the commanders to see who can become the next emperor. So yeah, I think we should go to war with the Byzantine Empire and see how badly that goes. We have a slight problem, incidentally, down here. Well, let's just have a quick summary of the other problems we have. One of the problems we have is that we can't usurp the Duchy of Oman because it's held by this guy who holds an awful lot of duchies, and he's currently at war. And while he's at war, we can't usurp any of his titles, so that's inconvenient. Another problem is that the Kingdom of Syria is currently has succession by Gavelkind, and that means that while it will pass to Antsa, because Antsa is the only child indeed of Gerhild, Antsa has been a little more prolific than Gerhild and has 4 children so far. So if Syria is still under Gavelkind by the time Antsa dies, then there's a danger it'll get split off from Jerusalem. So that needs to be fixed. But that's not easy because we can't switch to primogeniture in Syria because it doesn't have high crown authority. It only currently has low crown authority, and Queen Gerhild can't change it until 1220, i.e. in like 40 years' time, 30 years' time. Or Antsa could change it by 1 notch, which still isn't far enough. The alternative is to abolish the Kingdom of Syria so that it can't pass to the wrong person. But that's a bit fiddly because because you can't abolish a kingdom that's under Gavelkind, so you have to change the succession law. So we could change the succession law to something that is neither Gavelkind nor primogeniture and then abolish it, maybe. But that would kind of piss off the vassals a bit. So I don't think we can't really do any of this while we're playing as Gerhild. So this is a problem. This is Antsa's problem later, but it will be a problem. But for now, I think we go to war with the Byzantine Empire. And it's a somewhat silly war because we only actually want that one county there. We're going to get a bunch of other territory we don't want scattered across the... Well, okay, not very scattered across the empire. That bit there and that bit there. And then have to work out how we get rid of it or not. Because obviously, if we keep it, we get rather more threat than if we can somehow dispose of it. So we are now at war with the Byzantine Empire, which I'm sure will go fine. I think given the size of them, this is a job for raise all the armies and worry about the consequences later.
It seems odd that you declare war and then raise all the armies.
That you aren't allowed to declare war if you have any armies raised.
That's the best time.
So let's kind of organise ourselves onto a couple of fronts. It's on it. We'll rally in their territory. Okay, we're rallying slightly too many troops there. You lot rally somewhere slightly different. Steward Gregoras probably did not think I'd notice if a few coins here and there went missing, but the steady disappearance made me suspicious. Might it be that the gold is disappearing into Gregoras's greedy fingers? No, doesn't it turn out that it's always the cook?
Also, how does gold disappear into someone's fingers? That sounds...
But I think he then not that. Yeah. Anyway, right.
biochemically implausible.
Well, let's question Gregoras. Yes, it was the cook, as is traditional.
I never met a couple like...
So there will now be a short delay while we try to get all these armies into failure. Oh, there's a spare army down there. You lot can go up there. Well, I didn't really intend you to take that route. Take that route.
Oh god, they're doing that Starcraft Dragoons thing. Oh, I must march the long way around the whole map.
Oh, a messenger approaches us with a letter from the Vatican. From the Vicar of Christ himself, he is asking our men to prepare a fight against the heathens and infidels to restore Christendom to the lost places of the world. The Pope wants to send our faithful Christian men against Finland. The region is held by the heathen high chiefess Ita of Suomi. It is time to return it to Christianity once more. Though the Pope wants to invade Finland, a pious Christian could convince everyone to focus on another objective that is of more value to us.
That wasn't expected.
What, were you not expecting a crusade for Finland?
I was not, no.
Well, the problem is that someone has Christianised most of the Middle East already.
I mean, there is that.
But there's a bunch of pagans up here who could be...
Not of Finland, actually.
remember, this is a Mercator projection, so it's terribly... It shouldn't be a Mercator projection. You've got a bloody 3D engine. Just give me a globe.
But then it would have to fill in all the rest.
But you could have it and just not be willing to scroll that far. But yes, anyway. So there is an interesting question here. I mean, I think it's worth taking part in a crusade, even if you're not planning to be the biggest contributor to it. And or maybe I should suggest that we should crusade for Iraq instead. Well, let's say my men are ready. We'll pledge something. All right, I don't actually get I can't change the target because no valid targets to change to. Pinkby says, Iraq, another thing that's historically gone well. You could have a crack at Afghanistan while you're there. I'd have to remember where it is. It's like round here somewhere, isn't it? Anyway, so I can choose a crusade beneficiary. I mean, like, if we want someone good, Norbert would be a solid beneficiary. Now that we've switched to absolute cognatic succession, we don't have quite such an embarrassment of brilliant women around. Though Richara looks also pretty decent. 15, 17, 8, 1, 9. Just sort by Marshall. So, I mean, yes, Norbert could be our Crusade beneficiary. I mean, 1918, 811, 70 would certainly be pretty spectacular in that role. I mean, the new King of Finland. I might not actually want to play as the next Crusade beneficiary because I want to actually manage to set up the Empire of Outremer first. Let's select him for now anyway. We currently have a phenomenal strength because, well, we've got Queen Gerhild so far. Presumably other people are going to pledge to this crusade soon enough. Are we allowed to see what the artifacts are? Apparently not. So apparently I can't change the is she currently actually in any factions? Yes.
So now you've got some years now to finish up with the Byzantine Empire.
We've got 2 years until the crusade actually happens. And it's not like we have to do anything with the crusade, it would just be beneficial if we did. So she is still factionalizing. I think she would respond better to threats than to obligation. So yes, the crusade starts in slightly under 2 years, and the target is the High Chiefess of Finland, who controls let's switch back to realm view. This rather scattered area of land, and it's the intersection of that and the de jure Kingdom of Finland. So you basically get those outlined bits on the dark brown there. If you're the crusade beneficiary, yeah, that's not very much, is it? Yes, I was kind of hoping for a crusade for Iraq so that I could then just say, well, I'm just going to keep it all this time. But yeah, apparently the change button is unhelpful. So yes, she can decide to keep all of the titles that the crusade gives for yourself rather than going to your beneficiary, which makes you unpopular with people, but might be a good way if you want to actually keep the titles. But I don't want Finland.
Titles to ridiculous bits for Finland.
Yeah. Let's let Norbert have them. Right, anyway, having answered the letter from the Pope, so there's a brief battle there, but I don't think it's relevant to us. So we are already here besieging some of the Byzantine Empire's territory. Oh yes, there's probably more building to be done, isn't there? Because I think I can still get better. There's something cheap in one of my counties that I didn't have yet. Oh yes, we can get some very cheap stables in Xarbardawill. People flapping the defensive pact. Duchess Adelheid has agreed not to engage in any more factionalising, so that should weaken the independence faction and the elective succession faction, and nothing else is significant. So I think that means that my spy master can go in search of some technology again. So I think I checked and we're already as good at improved keeps as anyone in the world. If we want to improve our kind of tempted to try to improve our camel cavalry a bit. Who's good at cavalry? No one's that much better than we are. You could send someone over to Basra, or I suppose actually we've been spying on Baghdad quite a lot anyway. Let's send them back. Let's send him back to Baghdad. Study technology in Baghdad. Oh, maybe I should send some of these up the Red Sea by ship rather than tediously plodding by overland. Lutbert, my court chaplain, approaches me as I am on my way out to tell me how happy he was to hear that I had pledged my men to the crusade and to wish me luck in the upcoming war. Yes, we'll probably only send a light token force up to Finland, enough to ensure that all our commanders get the Crusader trait.
But not enough to ensure the beneficiary actually gets the stuff.
Well, I mean, I'm not going to play as him, I don't think, because I think I want to try to actually get the Middle East under control, get ourselves a the empire of Outremer. Of course, it's possible that Africa will nominate the same beneficiary. Siege event. It's bad for the defenders. The independence faction has disbanded because, well, it's lost its only member. Hey, officially I've committed all of my troops to this crusade, just they might not all turn up. It would be really nice to control Sinai. It would allow us to get the ships further north. But sadly, Sinai is in the hands of my half-brother, and Africa is currently pretty terrifying. That's nice. Oh, there's a small Byzantine army there. Well, we should go and meet them before they turn into a large Byzantine army, shouldn't we? Well, if everyone is faffing in that direction anyway, let's just get us all into that county and then organise ourselves and go and say hello to the visitors. Yeah, let's put her in the centre. Oh, we should take Antsa off. Oh, she's stuck researching military tech until November. Well, that's not very helpful. Right, give ourselves an organiser so that we can catch them. And I don't quite know where they're going, but we'll see if we can intercept them somewhere around there. Actually, can we take a more sensible route? That's nice. Peasant revolt can be somebody else's problem. Couple of siege events. Okay, we can't actually safely go through that county because we'll exceed the supply limit there. Let's go that way then. Where are you guys going now? We'll go Tripoli, right, that's fine. Actually, let's take this lot. No, there first, then there, then there. Right, we have taken Homs. Okay, where are they going now? Now they're going to Tortosa, so we should also go to Tortosa. Okay, how are my other armies doing? That lot have accumulated themselves nicely in Tabuk. Oops. So we can join them together, stick the other organiser in charge of them, and march them up to meet us in Tortosa. I suppose we could march them across, stick them on another ship, but like it's quite a long way to the Mediterranean for them anyway. That lot, meanwhile, are slogging up through Iraq and will probably turn out to be too few to do anything useful at the other end. Oh, Alaric, my dear brother. Dear half-sister, peace be with you. We propose that Prince Norbert of Africa and Egidia Michaeles marry. That could be quite fun, yes.
Because all the crusade beneficiary.
And terrifying martial skill. Well, I mean, not that terrifying, but pretty good. It's not like we had a use for her. Right, we've won another siege. We've captured a do, or dukes, or ducks, or a duck, possibly. He is not worth any. Someone else has founded a defensive independence faction. He is not a valuable prisoner, not a useful prisoner from the point of view of war score, but he is a useful prisoner from the point of view of 145 gold. Also, we can get another 26 gold for her, who's been sitting around for ages. Right, well, this army should probably do something now. Should probably head over in the general direction of the place that we're trying to... that's an odd route, but I'll take it. Right, well, that was quite good for our cash reserves, if nothing else. What? So we appear to be hostile to Trianos of Assyria, who is a vassal of the Byzantine Empire, and thus feels that he is defending against our war on Cappadocia. But he is currently busy in Edessa, so we'll just walk whistling past him to the south and hope he doesn't notice us. You lot can stay in friendly territory for now. Doesn't seem like the Assyrian guy noticed us. Alright, for some reason this lot are all accumulating in the wrong county. Let's put them in the correct county. Though actually, since their counterparts are are already in that county, let's head them there. Aha! Prince Archbishop Donato of Hijaz has declared the Hijazian holy war for Hadramaut on Sultan Jabir of the Ziyadid Sultanate. Excellent. I don't have to deal with the Ziyadids. Countess Shugofa of Julfar is now known as the Unchaste. Thank you. Right, we have now fully occupied the county of Homs. Yeah, let's just keep that lot nearby. Make sure that we have a siege leader here. Except that, oh yes, we do have another one. I think Guntram was not busy. This one has Faddle, doesn't it? Yes. And Antsa is a siege leader, but it is now late enough that we can stick Antsa in charge of an army as well. I think. If we explicitly turn her off researching military tech. Right, so now we have siege leaders in each of our major armies. There may be a slight problem of not having had a big enough battle with the enemy, given this is a claymore. We'll have to pay some attention to that. Yeah. Okay. Where on earth is that then? County of Kerak is there. All right. I thought internal wars were banned, but maybe that's because they're in Syria, then they're allowed in Syria. So how many? There's only one Byzantine temple in, or church, bishopric in that county, so that lot can now move. Probably don't want to get into a battle with Syria because Assyria. Right, we have stables there. We can presumably just keep enhancing those stables.
I thought Assyrians had a pretty poor track record against Christians with God on their side.
Yeah, it's not so much that we'll have that we'll lose the battle, but that we would, but that it probably doesn't get us any war score.
I suppose, especially if you cheat by getting the angel of death to help out.
Yes. Also, the Assyrians are also Christians, so like, this is a claim war, not a holy war. We're doing this because one of our vassals insists that Cappadocia is theirs by right. And we've tried to press this claim once already on behalf of his mother, and then she went and embarrassingly died in the middle of the war. But our pressing the claim meant that he inherited the claim on Cappadocia, so we're now having another go. Everyone knows how deep and passionate the love between one of the courtiers and his wife are, but sadly it has not resulted in any children. I have heard the wife asking the other wives about cures and ways to get with child, but to no avail.
How deep and passionate the love are?
Yes, I don't know.
Someone got confused halfway through that sentence about which bit was the subject.
I mean, I'm particularly confused because apparently the courtier in question is her own husband.
Also, that's a very silly hat.
And the question is, might he be impotent? I have to know. Or it surprises me no one else knows this. Well, I mean, presumably you know this, Queen Gerhild. I mean, okay, actually, Queen Gerhild is celibate. So, I mean, that might possibly be a consequence. I'm a bit confused by... I mean, it does say... ask King Idley about his impotence. I'm assuming thus that it's King Idley who's the courtier in question. But he's married to a 62-year-old, to a celibate 62-year-old. It's not entirely surprising they have had no children. Like, he married her when she was well past childbearing age and celibate. Well, I mean, I think she should politely ask her husband rather than tell everyone. But
I don't think that might even be a... Why should I care then?
well, I mean, you could argue that it is some of her business, but only in yeah. I don't know. What are you doing? Get out there and besiege more things. Baldwin is trying to kill someone, not someone I don't think who is of any importance. So now we are just besieging things while we hope that... I mean, we could actually go looking for a Byzantine army, I suppose. Oh dear. Someone raided our camp. But we're happily edging up our war score. And then maybe we glom all of our army together and
There's some pretty frantic besieging going on here.
we surrender. Right, thank you. That's good because it means I don't have to find your army to get the last 1%. So we accept. Right, and now Duke Hypatios has usurped the Duchy of Cappadocia. And thus our territory is a really weird shape. But critically, we have that county there, which is the one we actually cared about. Also, we have thus yet another frontier with the Najidids, with yet another duke who now actually has some territory. No, you don't have to move them down there. They're in home territory where they are. With yet another duke being in charge of it, so they can...
This is making me think of the StarCraft strategy of attacking on 4 fronts with confusingly unbalanced forces in each attack. So that if the enemy doesn't divide their forces just right to meet all the attacks perfectly, then one or other of the fronts can make progress.
Right, so we'll get our armies home. How's the conversion of Jerusalem to Catholicism going? Pretty well, really. So we still... how is Prince Archbishop of Hijaz doing? 0 war score either way at the moment. But, like, he does actually have some troops in their territory besieging relevant things. So, also, what? Africa has wiped out most of the Ziyadid territory in Africa. Like, I'm pretty sure all this area was Ziyadid last time I looked. But now they're down to 2 counties in Abyssinia and those 2 counties there and Socotra. So yeah, I don't think he's going to have any great difficulty finishing them off. We have 22,000 troops. Problem is I need to take some territory off Africa at some point. Wondering if the correct approach actually is to wait for Africa to go off, send all their troops off on crusade and then go, ha ha, because all my troops are still at home.
You want to step outside? All right. Good, that's got rid of him.
Yes. Because, like, if all the African troops are up in Finland, then we could be taking advantage of this situation. Right, so the Ziadids are being dealt with by one of my vassals. So we probably want to... These guys, I think I can't take... Oh, maybe I can. Let's see. I can actually...
Pink Beast is confused by the right angle turns in your foreign policy.
We were attacking the Byzantine Empire to get territory off them. But the thing is, we also want this bit of territory down here. Like, we finished attacking the Byzantine Empire. We've got a truce with the Byzantine Empire now for the next 10 years. Or until the emperor dies or is usurped. But we also want to get Sinai and related things off Africa. And that is going to be a minor faff. Because Africa's big and terrifying. Like, the Byzantine Empire is not really a big problem. The Kingdom of Africa, on the other hand, is quite large. And, like, unlike the Kingdom of Jerusalem, isn't mostly desert.
That reminds me. This morning I looked out the window and saw a bin lorry with a picture of the Earth on the side of it. Which you could tell it was Earth because you could see Africa, except that they had inflated Africa to the size of most of the hemisphere. Apparently because it's the recognisable bit.
Or maybe you were just looking at it from very close too. Because that will gradually bring your horizon inwards. Thank you, Gareth. Hmm? Yes. Sorry, okay, sorry, I thought that, don't mind me. No. I mean, is obviously related to the projection, but where was I? Yes, so I do want to try to take that off Africa, so maybe I should use the upcoming crusade as an excuse. How long have we got till the crusade starts? 202 days. I mean, it's tempting to send a small token force to Finland in order to make sure we get everyone to have the Crusader attribute. And I mean, it need not be that small, but then keep a larger force back here to take on Africa when we have a chance.
Turns out that Adalberto, or whoever her successor is, has had exactly the same idea in reverse and is waiting to pounce on you when you do.
Alaric, yes. Let's just check. Has Alaric pledged to the crusade?
What do a lot of people have?
Yes, he has. Well, I mean, the other side has some people on, but it's notable that they're all counts. Maybe there are kings at the top, a few. But yes, interesting. The King of Mali is Christian, is he? Oh yes, we have a largish Catholic extent into West Africa now. In addition to some small fragments that are still kind of Islamic. Though I think, yeah. So, but Ghana is still pagan, or at least the ruler of Ghana's Catholic as well. Wow. Africa is a Di Spoleto. That's Alaric Di Spoleto. That's Queen Gerhild's half brother. Right. Yeah, if you look at the dynasties map, the world is quite dispoleto. All of this area and the whole of the former Holy Roman Empire, and apparently most of the Iberian Peninsula. That's not my fault. I didn't send them that way. Though not Italia, because that's controlled by the Argyros Empire at the Argyros dynasty at the moment.
Although the bit down on the lower side, which was where you started.
Yes, the former papal states, Rome in particular, is still controlled by a Dispoleto because that's actually part of the HRE. So there's a fragment of Holy Roman Empire down there, as well as up there. Italia got broken out by Gavelkind, essentially. I can fight other Dispoletos. I try not to, but if I'm going to get this land, I more or less have to. So I think what I should do is, how much of an army can I raise? It's a bit pricey, not yet. From this territory, I can raise 3,000 from Mirabel. If I just raise my domain troops, which would also be from Damascus, the problem is if I just raise my domain troops here, I end up with not enough of them. The thing is, I've got so many domain troops now. The problem is if I just raise some of my domain troops, we end up with a stupidly unbalanced army. If I raise all of them, then I end up with a slightly excessively large army. I suppose I could raise 3 of them so as to give myself something vaguely reasonable. So if I raise that levy, the awkward thing is I end up with a single flank. But then I could just raise, I very rarely do it this manually, those 3 levies, send them to Jaffa and stick them on a boat. And we can send all of them to Finland, where if we're lucky they will actually arrive before the crusade starts, despite the fact that it's an awfully long way away. We're still making a profit.
What's the route to Finland? Do I have to walk? Or can they sail?
Probably the best route is sailing all the way out the Mediterranean, round Spain.
There's a few mountains and if you walk.
Yes. Antsa has found enough money to start building new towns. Wow. She's now got slightly too many of them, exceeding her domain limit. Right, so if we glue them together, they're now a reasonably sane distribution of troops between flanks. Well, reasonably sane. So let's raise some ships, stick that lot on the ships, and sail. Oh, yes, yeah, that'll do. So yes, that's quite a lot. They have to go the long way round, but it'll still be quicker than marching, I'm fairly sure. So, that leaves us in the situation where we have still got like 16,000 troops at our disposal, which is slightly fewer than the Najdid Sultanate has. But on the other hand, we're better at organising them than they are. So I'm kind of tempted now to go to war with the Najdids. But I can't because I've got my troops raised. Oh, you idiot, Harris. Do I need to dismiss those troops just to start some wars?
I don't understand this rule. What's the purpose of this rule? Or the logic of it, or something.
I'm not sure.
Fair enough.
And now we have the slightly embarrassing situation that I think you can't unload a ship without sending it out to sea and back. There isn't a get off ship button. You have to essentially do that. It doesn't take very long, but it's a bit silly nonetheless. Yeah, I think we'll leave someone else to deal with that for now. This, of course, also means I'm going to have a slight difficulty in that I can't thus go to war with Africa while my troops are raised overseas. I may have to do the rather expensive thing of dismissing them. I should be paused while I'm doing this. Dismissing them overseas, even though that will lose some of them. Various people converting to Catholicism, which is nice. Right, so now let's go to war with the Ziadids. So what do we want to claim, or rather holy war for? We can take Al-Bahrain, which has the advantage that it's on the side that we don't have a good duke, or Baghdad, which has the advantage of being their capital. Basra, apparently, which has the advantage of being in the middle of everything. Fars, no, we don't want Fars. Jibal, I don't think we want Jibal either, or Khuzestan. Oh, that's all the way over there. No, we definitely don't want that. That's very unhelpful. Mudar, which is right next to us, but there is probably a duke who can usefully take that. Nafud, but we only get 2 counties with that. Samara, that's tempting because it's adjacent to the Byzantine Empire, and they have shown in the past enthusiasm for holy wars against the Najidids. And so if we take it, we won't hold a feast this year. If we take it, then and a few de jure claims. If we take it, then the Byzantine Empire can't get it. Let's go for Samara. Right, now I can send some troops to Finland. Raise the smaller one of those. Oh, we don't get nearly as many as I'd expected. All right, that's the the total levy, but that's not necessarily the levy that I can raise. Yes, I see. Because the levies are depleted. Right. So let's send that slightly nominal army that way. Let's let them get somewhere so that I don't get confused. Once that lot are on a ship, then I can raise some others and actually deal with the war, the immediate war, rather than the one that's still 128 days away. We're not going to get there in time. excuse me, I'm just starting raising some of my own troops for the other war. So they are organising themselves over there. Slightly concerned I may be sending too many people to Finland. Oh well. You can't merge units while they're on a ship. Okay. You lot can start moving. Meanwhile, I should raise any remaining troops. Wonder if with adequate commanders we could take them. No, that's mountains. We're not going to try that. We'll let Antsa deal with her own rebellion. Oh, there's more troops down there, aren't there? Of course, having our spy master in Baghdad is helpful for getting some idea of Najidid troop movements. I think we may as well have this lot start besieging something. Yeah, we'll soon have our marshal doing something useful, don't worry. So they're interestingly spread out. Now, I think once we've got this lot here together, we probably start marching around and getting into battles. That's a decent sized army, especially if we give it some good commanders. So that's mountain. So we're going to need more than that. What's the supply limit on the way there? Good enough. Okay, if they're going to park that many people in my mountains, I'm going to need a bigger army down here to counter that, I think. Which is fine. Queen Gerhild, the Sword of God, has accepted a call to arms from Pope Sergius IV, opposing High Chiefess Aita the Giant, due to having pledged to join the crusade. Queen Gerhild, the Sword of God, had no other choice. Well, yes, but she's not really sending her best. Well, she will. She'll send herself eventually. In a grand announcement, the Pope declares a crusade for Finland. It has been at the fringes of Christian land for ages. And once again, the Pope has decided that it's time to try to bring them into the fold and turn the people of Finland to the true faith. The Finnish lands have long been under the rule of a barbaric heathen high chiefess Aita of Suomi. It is
I have to conquer her just so you don't have to pronounce
have to
it.
pronounce the word chiefess. It is only a matter of time before she will fall under the Christian onslaught. God will grant remission of sin to everyone partaking in the righteous war. Deus Vult. Okay, where's my ship? Everyone has raised their troops. My ships are already sailing round the sailing off Portugal, which means they will get there fairly late, but that's fine because we do actually have a different holy war that we're busy with. Now wondering, do we... The thing is, this siege is going reasonably well. I don't really want to break it off. Where are the other guys? Oh, we're getting into battles over here where they actually have... where the enemy have significant numbers of troops. That might be a problem. Well, let's make sure they have an organiser to get them out of the way. Those guys are just going to die, sorry. I think we should thus head this lot northwards. Oh no, not that way, that way. So that they get a bit closer to the main army. Because I think we're going to need everyone together. Let's give them an organiser as well. So all being well, that lot can then get away. Do I break off this siege just so that I can get some battle wins in before they... I think I have to. Because otherwise we're going to, like, they're going to get all their troops together and then unhappiness will ensue. Excellent. We wanted to build some more stables in Azaka, didn't we? No, not Azaka, in Xar-Bardawil. No, not in Xar-Bardawil. Maybe we've actually built the stables we wanted. We could have more camels, more camels. So yes, that lot. That lot of fleeing, kind of. And then we hope to start winning some battles up here first. Right, so this will be quite a tricky battle in terms of they are in mountains and we have a river crossing penalty, but we have a lot more troops and some very good commanders. So where's that? Oh dear, yeah, they're starting to take my territory. That's embarrassing. Well, let's start beating them on the field of battle. Where are you guys going? You're going to Baghdad. Well, my aim, I think, is that this army here should dance around this one, unless they can, and so that they can meet up with those 12k up there. Yeah, thank you. You're busy pushing over some of my smaller holdings, which is not good for the war score.
I imagine that's why they're doing it.
Yes. Oh, we have a new Duke of Outregendin. He's slightly less annoying than annoyed with me, indeed. Duke Morcar of Mercia. Well, he has a nice big martial skill, and his wife has a spectacular martial skill as well, so he should be useful. Well, that battle at least is going all right. Oh, we've actually got a decent sized army down here. Were Gerhild not rather busy with that battle? Where are they going? They're going to Karbala, which is that patch there. Which is kind of weird. Well, I think we do have some other good commanders, but this battle is going to be won pretty soon. So I think we don't currently go after that army. We win that battle, and then you heading to you're heading to Rabat. Okay, you're trying to get into my territory, right? So what I think I should do then is to have Gerhild and Antsa and my best organiser, which is Rorges, chase them down.
Right, see you on Sunday. Good night, stream.
No, not that, like that. And this lot can be reinforcements if they're necessary, which they shouldn't be. Then I think I should see how the crusade is going, because it's possible my ships have arrived and they're just sitting out in the sea being unhelpful. Yes, they have, because I'm an idiot. Right. You lot, get ashore. Right, oh yes, we do have a bit of a shortage of money now. Well, let's see what we can loot from the pagans. Yeah, well, possibly if we dismiss the crusading troops, we'll be able to reduce our expenditure a bit. I can get a pause when a military unit arrives. It's just I think that might be a bit annoying. I often have lots of them going places. Right, we now have some troops over here. Is that de jure Suomi? Yes. So I think that means Faddle has become a crusader. Right. We only have one place we can put people, but let's quickly go. Right. That's quite a lot of people who've become crusaders now. So do I try to bring these ships home, or do I just disband them up there and stop having to pay them but get only half of them back? And we're going to be a fair distance down. How terrifying is the... I can't actually afford... I mean, I can, but I really need the money. So, yes. So that is also part of... Yeah, so I think we can become as crusaders there. So I think we want to rapidly get crusader benefits for everyone and then possibly disband some things. We need this battle to finish first, though, so that we can get the ooh, this one's going to be a bit close. Like, Antsa's flank has been broken, but we've probably got enough left to win, yes. Win this battle as well. Meanwhile, that lot should be a single army. The supply limits up here are just terrible. Everyone is going to die. Curious. Wonder what I could do by way of Crusader states up here. Rule was something like a de jure duchy that's outside the target kingdom but is controlled by the target religion. It's quite fiddly up here. So, yeah, I don't really know who is opposed to us. Well, let's just try marching it. Well, no, now we've just finished that battle down there, haven't we? So everyone can now be cycled through this. I'm not sure that Suomi has walls. I finally stand before the destination of the crusade. With sword in hand, I'm ready to storm the walls of Suomi. Well, maybe not. Antsa. Rorges. Right, that's all of my commanders. Last time I also then went through all of my immediate vassals, appointing them as commanders. Which is a bit tedious, but is good for being able to have lots of crusaders around. Also, so I had too much turnover in my vassals, and I need to reappoint pretty much every post. Right, well, we'll have to temporarily suspend Marsilio, even though he's utterly brilliant. Happily, no one is ever offended by being relieved as a commander. She didn't last time. I do it by doing it through here and just picking the highest ranked person who is who isn't already a crusader. Which is kind of tedious, but could do with having a search term for is not yet a crusader. It's very tedious, I apologise, but it is useful. To make my husband a crusader. We never did find out what came of that bizarre question. Where's my husband got to? There he is, King Idli. Idli. Doesn't actually have to be the highest one on the list, you know, Ben. Just has to be someone who isn't yet a crusader. I suppose I could do them in bulk, but yeah, I'm just being faffy. Don't mind me. There is a question of whether it's really worth making every bishop in the kingdom into a crusader, but like it's probably good experience for them. What's he got to? Thought I just appointed someone. Maybe I was an idiot. Oh, of course, my spy master I can't appoint to do this because he's busy doing something else. Yeah, I don't think I care quite enough to try to break that off. Everyone who is of military significance is a crusader now. But like you get extra points of martial for it, so it's kind of helpful for everyone. My steward, I can't do. My spy master, I can't do without taking them off their current jobs. The other Vela, possibly I should just find interesting things to say about each of the people I appoint. Like, who are they? Work out what's going on in my territory. He's my court chaplain who is busy. Don't know anything about Hugo. I've just noticed that I sent 689 camels to Finland. I'm not sure this was entirely wise. Let's put the Bishop of Jerusalem in. I feel it's kind of silly to put people with. Oh, we do want to put dukes and such like in, though, don't we? Because everyone who is a crusader likes everyone else who's a crusader. I think, as I recall. I'm a crusader queen, of course, so this is slightly complicated. Maybe I don't want everyone to be liked as being a crusader. Oh, I don't know. Was someone I thought I actually wanted to put in, and I'm not quite bored enough to. Particular, like the Duke of Ascalon, should probably be a crusader. Except apparently he is not eligible to lead that army. Is he also one of my council? Probably. Seem to have lost it. Oh, there he is. Well, let's try to improve the Prince Archbishop of Hijaz, who is terrible. He's slightly less terrible now. Can we make Orthodox people Crusaders. Yep. Well, maybe. Yep. Don't think we've got any Muslim courtiers, sadly. No. And we have someone called Ramadan, which is kind of close. He's a Crusader now. But he was already Christian, so it doesn't really count. Despite the name. That's probably about enough people converted into Crusaders. Let's put things back because I'm getting bored. So this is all notionally enemy territory. I think we may as well march around up there for a bit. Meanwhile, we will hope to run into that lot. Our aim, after all, being, I think, be suggesting crusades must have been much harder to do before you could teleport people to and from Finland at the drop of a hat. Yes, yes. I mean, we can only teleport commanders. The men have to go there the slow way. Well, their centre's looking pretty solid, but sadly, given what we've brought to bear, not solid enough. Right. Let's give that lot a siege leader to speed up their admittedly fairly trivial sieges. So what else is there going on over here? Have they still got an army down here? It looks like they haven't. So my guess is that their big army is on its way back up to meet me, which is fine. We will head in here and start besieging the territory we actually want. Note saying my husband has become a commander because, well, I appointed him. Oh dear, the supply limit here is marginally less than the number of troops we've got. I think we'll tolerate that. Oh, enemy army, enemy army. Marching on Baghdad. Right, we're not reinforcing, they are, so we want to meet them as soon as possible. Yes, they have more troops than we have. So basically our hope is that we have better commanders. Let's have some commanders. All of our commanders, well, apart from Gerhild, who is a Crusader Queen, are Crusaders. Yes, so you get a plus 15 same trait opinion for being a Crusader if someone else is a Crusader, which is helpful. Dear, I'm running out of money. Loot things, loot faster. All right, yeah, that's going to be quite an effort to besiege, isn't it? Also horrific attrition, but that should reduce the cost of running these things. The Order of the Brothers of the German House of St Mary in Jerusalem has been formed, sponsored by the Catholic Church and the Holy Roman Emperor. The Teutonic Order, much like the Knights of St John and the Knights Templar, primarily protect and care for pilgrims to the Holy Land, but will serve any Catholic ruler willing to pay for their upkeep. Being a religious order, they will only fight against heretics and infidels. Helfen, wehren, heilen. Hochmeister Dyer of the Teutonic Order. That's nice. I have no money. I mean, literally 0 money. Right, we've got into a battle. It may not go well. Well, Gerhild's doing all right. I think if Antsa can hold on, Gerhild will be able to deal with the problem. Yes. People keep joining this holy war. I'm not happy with that situation. Right, well that was good for our war score. 24% war score from that one battle. Plus, like, we've seriously injured their army. Pause, Ben. Right, let's head back up to somewhere where we can besiege and hopefully get some loot. Oh, we've got into a battle up there. Well, I did send a commander. We're like the 3rd biggest contributor to this crusade, and we're not even trying. Oh, we got some tech from Baghdad. $13 money from that siege. Oh dear, my only great grandson has died. He's the son of the younger Antsa, and like, he was weak and then ill and now dead. Right, so we're just continuing marching around Finland, besieging things, mostly for the money. Down here we're hoping we can get some war score. So a random countess in Africa has suggested marrying my courtier Albrecht von Saxon. Yeah, go on. Dear, many of the besiegers have died outside Samara. More revolting peasants. No, I don't think I want to assault anything, though I might want to have another quick battle down here. Oh, someone's wandering around trying to besiege things. Oh no, it's just the rebels who are besieging us. You guys are on the move, aren't you? Yes. Are we losing war score because we don't control? Yes, so we'll get a bunch of war score when we start taking control. Here. You want me to plot to join, to murder one of my commanders? No. Do I actually want you as a vassal? Frankly, let's get you a decent regent. All right, it's tyrannical because while you've invited me to join your plot, I'm not actually allowed to imprison you on the grounds that you're plotting to murder one of my commanders, because I don't officially know about your plot. Because it hasn't been uncovered by my spy master, it's been uncovered by you asking me to join it. Huh? So we are currently still the third biggest contributor. Kind of observing that Africa doesn't seem to be in this list. At least not in the significant ones towards the top, which makes me worry that Africa. King Alaric is there, yes, about halfway down. Which makes me worry that he may have sent no troops at all. I mean, it appears that all of his troops are still kicking around down here trying to work out what they're doing. Or at least quite a lot of them are. So I may not be able to practically go to war with Africa because he's committed even less to the crusade than I have. Also, you're trying to murder Fadl. He's currently in Finland. It's going to be quite hard. Ow. Possibly we should send this army west to quickly hit that one, but I think it's probably worth clearing out all of the cities and temples in here first. dear, we haven't actually got enough troops left in Finland to besiege anything else in this county. Just wondering what to do about that. Like, we could join another army and just attach ourselves to them, but all the thing is, any reasonably sized army is going to be a liability in terms of supply limits. Oh, we have 100% war score. We could decide it's time to go home. And since I think invading Africa is still going to be a bad move even under these circumstances, I'm not going to try to do that, and I'm actually going to bring the troops home. Okay, this place does have a fort level of 5.5, sorry, so that'll take a little while to push over. Wondering if we march west and quickly thrash them and then come back again. Yeah, we'll get a bit of reinforcement while we're over there. Right. The Catholic Crusade for Finland has ended. Pope Sergius IV won. God has granted King CK2 of England victory in the Crusade for Finland. Aita Ravela has been beaten at every turn through the war. She has finally had to give up her holdings in Finland. King CK2 has granted the new lands of Finland to blank. The Pope has made an announcement about the victory and virtues of the Crusaders as true faithful protectors of the faith. With the pagans being pushed out of their old lands, there are certainly more conflicts to come. Praise God. So what's happened here then? What? Hello, Battle of Takrit. Finland appears now to be controlled by the papacy. Presumably because, like, someone's crusade beneficiary died or something. Thank you, Pink Beast. Yes, Pink Beast says, go, Team Pope. So the Pope has among his vassals Eadfrith of Saxony and Manigold di Spoleto. And thus, rather perversely, the Pope himself is King Bishop of Finland. So what was the guy I pointed in? I nominated Norbert, that was it. Norbert. Search all for Norbert. So Norbert, the guy I nominated, has come out with one county. He is now Chief Norbert of Olonets. He better have some children, because currently his heir is the King of Africa. But yes, we now have the Pope as King Bishop of Finland. Right. Right, so what have we got in our treasury now? Gerhild di Spoleto has had splint mail armour and a holy prepuce added to her treasury. So she has, yes, she already owned the German armour of the cross. She has now gained some ordinary armour of the cross and a holy prepuce, which is mostly good for prestige and fertility. So we can't equip both the armour of the cross and the German armour of the cross. And the German armour is strictly better, so we should probably pass on the armour of the cross to someone else, like, say, Antsa. If we can, give artifact, yes. I'm kind of wondering about giving the holy prepuce to her daughter, who has no children at the moment, because that will increase her fertility. Right, there we go. All of our crusade gifts given to other people. I should probably have checked that Antsa hadn't already gained herself something useful like that. No, she hasn't. Do we actually have to wait for a reply when we're giving artifacts then? What a splendid object. I mean, like the armour of the cross is. She's probably going to wear it immediately. Yes. And that gives her +1 martial. Not yet. Maybe it has to settle in a bit. Right, that takes her up to 28 martial. We will presumably get a similar note from her daughter Antsa saying, yes, what a lovely gift. What a splendid object. Oh, they've brought a decent army to bear. This is a bit of a problem. I have got phenomenal amounts of money, actually. I think now is probably the time to hire someone to help me with this holy war. So I think it would be perfectly sensible to bring the Knights Templar in. Same problem as before. Yes, you're large, but I don't want to lose Marshall. Keep eating. I mean, I lose Marshall from being obese anyway, but where's my ship gone? I mean, it's not got many people on it. Oh, right, I forgot. I haven't actually asked the ship to come home yet. Idiot. Come home. You're needed. Also, I keep forgetting to pause. Hochmeister Stoteface, yes. Was he? I think actually he'd already been hired. Hochmeister Stoteface is busy working for the petty kingdom of Svithjod. Actually, let's get into their territory, because they're marching away at the moment anyway. Abbasids have joined in. And possibly I need some mercs as well. Like the Rus company would be pretty terrifying to bring on board, wouldn't they? 8,000 troops. And I can afford them. I shouldn't need them though. I think with some competent commanders, let's get an organizer in here. With some competent commanders and a few quick battles, we can flatten that lot. Is someone like slowly besieging their way through our territory down here again? I don't know. Mostly have a problem in Julfar. Where's Julfar then? Is that down here? Is that just that they've got that whole county and it's a huge county? It's a fairly big county, yes. I mean, we could hire some mercenaries just to go down and take that back. And like we have quite a lot of money now. Kind of reluctant to build an army that's small enough for them to kill though. Oh right, we don't want all of them in one place, there are too many of them. Yeah, I think if I want to win this one, I'm going to need yet more people. I think. Yes, sod it. Let's bring in the Russians. And like eventually the Crusaders will come home. curious as to whether it showed a location for the main Pope, but he's just Pope, not as he actually is Pope. Oh, he's Pope in Liège apparently. They're just suffering attrition because they've been away from home for too long. Right, that's our war score back to something slightly non-embarrassing. There's an army over there, but like I think my best bet. Oh, we have a new Count of Amman. That's nice. Oh yes, I wanted to put in a put a bunch of people into useful honorary titles, didn't I? That's better. We've dragged a lot of people out of their hiding holes. But none of them are any good for our war score. One of them is Nizam Varanid, we do not want to give away. Where are you guys going? You're trying to head into Kirkuk, are you? Well, we want to be there. Okay. Let's hope this works. Mostly depending on our excellent commanders here. This may not work well. Do kind of need the reinforcements to turn up pretty quickly. Ideally quicker than that. Oh, we got away with that one. That's another 26% war score. Now we need to split this army up sharpish because we have far too many people in this county. And let's send Gerhild's army that way and that other army that way. Gradually releasing people from the enormous number we got from a siege. There are now none of them who can afford their ransom. So, meanwhile, let's win another battle. Anyone left we can ransom? Doesn't look like it. Oh, we have a new Duke of Cappadocia. He is 14 years old. Well, anyone I can usefully marry him to, preferably a Di Spoleto? Probably not. No, hang on, that's not what I meant. No, not really. More tech points from Baghdad. Which one of these is my... Right, that one's the Knights Templar, so we don't really need to worry about damaging them. And that one's the Rus Company. So those ones can assault pretty much with impunity if it gets us the win fast. We've got 100% war score. Hooray! Right, you can stop assaulting now. Oh, that lot have arrived home as well. Excellent. So, yes, I think we should dismiss our hired troops not least because we're not about to engage in another war immediately. Actually, I might change my mind about that, but this is my army, isn't it? So I do have to dismiss them if I'm planning to engage in a war. Slightly wondering if I should quickly hit these guys. Problem is that's going. No, there's no hurry for them. Let's consolidate for a bit. And in particular, the Knights Templar will always be there if we need them again. How are you doing? You've been at this war for quite some time. Right, you are winning. Good. So I now have that duchy there. And I can usurp the duchy and then find some deserving character to have it. I could grant it to one of my commanders, or I could try to locate a suitable dispoleto. Wondering, could I invite the next generation of? Can directly grant it to Antsa, the younger Antsa, who's my granddaughter, which might be quite sensible. Let's do that. What is the capital of Samara? Kiev? Or something. I suppose, yes, the Emir of Samara no longer actually lives in Samara because I control the whole of Samara, so he's pissed off somewhere else. So she now has the Duchy of Samara. And we can then make young Antsa Duchess of Samara. Which means we've now run into our vassal limit. Which means that ideally I would turn down the centralisation. Because that would increase my vassal limit by 5. That's probably a good plan. Reduce my domain limit in return. No one will vote against that, surely. Right, now I can have more vassals at the expense of slightly smaller domains. Duchess Antsa of Samara is busy organising her court. Right. So now 3 generations of Di Spoletos are landed within within the Kingdom of Jerusalem. Queen Gerhild, Princess and Duchess Antsa, and Duchess Antsa, her daughter, and the next generation, well, is dead at the moment. We're hoping that Antsa, the youngest, can have some more children. Right, well, that was quite successful. We've successfully got some land off the Byzantine Empire, and we've successfully got some land off the Najadid Sultanate, and we've successfully gone on crusade and thus come back phenomenally rich. But we're not the biggest contributor to the crusade, not least because we only sent a fairly small force up there, and so while there is now a Di Spoleto count, Prince Norbert of Africa is now also Marshal of Karelia and Count of Olonets. All right, he's feudalised the place. So what else is there up there? There's a von Aalborg and Duke Manigold Di Spoleto, who was presumably put in by the Holy Roman Empire or something. Eadfrith of Savonia. From Saxony. That is held by the papacy directly. Chief of Cagliar, who's Visigothic, and random Chief Lally all the way up here, who has somehow managed still to be pagan, despite his liege being the Pope. And we don't know what happened to England to mean that they didn't have a beneficiary selected at the end. But yes, so it appears that the Pope is currently considers that we've got the Middle East under control, and he needs to put some more effort into the pagans. And there's going to be a fair amount of conversion still to do up there. Though, I say we've got the Middle East under control, but the Muslims are still going eastwards through Persia. So we're just the slightly less we've got the Near East under control. The Middle East may be a little way off. So we currently have 15,000 troops, but lots of money. The Najadid Sultanate only has 8,000, but we have a truce with them now, I think. Yes. Byzantine Empire still has the same emperor, so we have a truce with them as well. Otherwise, we could start de jure claims on all of those. They also have a phenomenal number of troops at the moment. Let's not go to war with the Byzantine Empire. And our half-brother Alaric has an even more phenomenal number of troops. And high crown authority. Actually, the BE probably has high crown authority too. Actually, it's mostly medium, so maybe we can pull some stupid inheritance tricks on them. Right, if we could arrange that that's not going to work. The heir to elective succession doesn't help us very much either. Arrange that the heir to one of these places is already landed in our kingdom. Then we might be able to sneak some things out of the Byzantine Empire, even if we can't sneak things out of Africa like that. That patch is going to be a problem. Anyway, I think that's a reasonable time for us to call it a night. We have successfully... you need a new commander. We've successfully taken land off the Ziadids and the Byzantine Empire and established a papacy in Finland. So after all of that, I can't keep things in the right place. I shall say good night. Good night.